Good morning. The running battle between the TRAI and the older telecom players like Vodafone and Bharti Airtel seems to have resurfaced once again. Essentially, the TRAI has banned one of Vodafone's new plans. This plan gave higher speeds, higher internet speeds to those people who paid a higher charge per month. And Bharti Airtel, which is about to launch a similar plan, has also been asked by the TRAI to explain why this doesn't violate or how this doesn't violate net neutrality norms. Now, net neutrality is a complex subject, but the issue here is a fairly simple one. If the speeds that Vodafone and Airtel are offering on their new plans, if they don't result in a lowered speed for the general plans, then it's difficult to figure out how anybody is really getting hurt and how to that extent net neutrality is getting affected. What is especially worrying in this context is that in the past, TRAI, which is supposed to be a neutral regulator, has been pulled up by the Supreme Court as well as the TDSAT for being biased. So, in the past when TRAI recommended a penalty on the telecom companies, the Supreme Court called it a legislatively preordained penalty without fault or loss being established. And then it went on to say, this is manifestly arbitrary and unreasonable. For the Supreme Court to say such harsh things about a regulator tells you a lot about the quality of the regulation. In another case, the tribunal where you challenged TRAI ruling, which is the TDSAT, in another case about what is called significant market power, the TDSAT said that the TRAI's definition of significant market power showed a degree of predetermination to dilute the entire concept of SMP. So apart from poor government policy over several decades, even the regulatory neutrality seems to be an issue as far as the older telecom players are concerned, in which case, what hope do they really have? Not everyone is in trouble though. As we've just seen, Reliance got its 13th investor in the form of Qualcomm, and that takes its fundraising over the last few months to 1.2 lakh crores. While the news on the spread of the coronavirus continues to be running, India will hit around 9 lakh cases sometime tomorrow or perhaps the early day after. So while the news on corona continues to be worrying, the head of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Randeep Guleria, has some fairly grim news on the long-lasting impact of the virus. So while politicians such as Arvind Kejriwal, Delhi's chief minister, basically are talking about the high levels of recovery and they're saying that this shows you that it shows that the problem is under control. Essentially what Dr. Randeep Guleria seems to be saying is that even after people are recovering, you're finding that several months after they've gone home, some of them require oxygen support. So there are problems as far as the brain is concerned, as far as the kidneys are concerned. And more than anything else, what this tells you is that even so many months, 6 to 7 months after the virus first hit the world, even 6 to 7 months after that, doctors are still not certain as to how the virus is impacting our body and what is the long-term impact it has on us. Most of us have had more than a niggling worry about India becoming more protective and the tariffs going up ever since the Narendra Modi government came to power. But we didn't know exactly how much more protective India had become. So we have a story today in our paper which says that the average import duties are up by around a third. It's actually about 30% or 31%. So the average import duties on Indian imports are up about a third since Prime Minister Narendra Modi first came to power in 2014. And this number also, it appears, is actually not an updated number. It applies to 2018 or 2019. Now this may normally be good news for local manufacturers if there is more import protection. But if local manufacturers are not using the space given to them by the extra import duties and they're not able to scale up their production or get their costs down, essentially all it means is that the economy is having to bear a higher cost and India is becoming a higher cost economy. How do you judge that? Well, given the falling level of India's exports at a time when exports from other countries like Vietnam continue to rise, given the fact that India's exports continue to fall, it actually tells you or it proves that India is becoming more export uncompetitive and just raising tariffs on imports is really not a solution at all. It gets the government mileage, it gets them the support of local manufacturers, but that's about all. Tax revenues of many state governments rose immediately after Unlock 1, which is not surprising because economic activity also picked up after Unlock 1. But as we've seen in the case of Nomura's Business Resumption Index, which fell off in July, we're seeing that even in the case of the increase in taxes by the states, that seems to be plateauing. And we have a story today, our front page anchor, which essentially tells you about how 582 firms were downgraded this month, while just about 80 were upgraded. And finally, some good news to end the video with. The centerpiece of Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's revival plan for the economy was a 3 lakh crore collateral-free guaranteed loan for the MSMEs. Now the good news here is that in the last few weeks, 1.2 lakh crore of this has already been sanctioned by the banks, and as the Finance Minister has said, 60,000 crore rupees has already been disbursed. Now that's very good news. But if the MSMEs have to really recover, we need to get those sanction levels and those disbursement levels up to 3 lakh crores within the next few weeks. The longer you delay, the longer the more the MSMEs will shut down, and then reviving them is going to be very difficult. Have a great day. Thank you.